became obvious as we were talking that what we really need is an entirely new level and extent of evangelization led by our bishops. The episcopate of the Catholic Church of the United States, as good as these men are, truly good, holy men, are simply not really on the same page, and they're continuously distracted by all the needs that we deem our needs, that probably really aren't. So they really very rarely get around to thinking about what is the highest and the greatest priority in the church. And we determined, George and I sitting there, it's Jesus, pure and simple.
That the very first role that Christ asked of Peter and the apostles is, be fishers of men. And that's at the heart of what the new evangelization is being fishers of men. Imagine if we approach the new evangelization from the standpoint of the entire local church, from the standpoint of a diocese. And imagine if the bishops themselves are leading this, the anointed of God to lead a diocese, if they're the ones actually leading the new evangelization and transforming that diocese completely, bringing people to a personal relationship with Christ. And that personal relationship, then you have the love that becomes the foundation of people's lives.
When you really think about it, what does Jesus say that a good shepherd does? A good shepherd leaves the other 99 behind and goes in search of the one that's lost. That's not a picture that we have of the typical bishop. But yet, unless our bishops today can relearn that, we won't, because we follow our leaders.
The St. Paul Evangelization Society helps us to keep front and center that central task of Jesus Christ, to go into the world and to proclaim the gospel to every creature. My mantra has always been, imagine if every baptized Catholic went to Mass every Sunday, prayed for 15 minutes every day, went to confession once a month, lived a life of virtue and holiness, and was involved in some aspect of the mission of the church. We would change the course of human events. We would transform human history. They have helped me to creatively and constructively think through how, as a diocesan bishop, do I embed evangelization as the central task of all that we do. What things need to be embraced? What are some things that need to be sidebarred for a while? Institutionally, personally, and collectively, how do we really embrace this bracing vision that Jesus gives us of proclaiming the gospel to the ends of the earth? St. Paul Evangelization Society helps me to hold myself accountable when it comes to maintaining in practice what I committed to when I became a bishop, and that is to proclaim the gospel and to do all that I can to help the local church to fulfill that mission of Jesus. So they've helped me to think through clearly the sequence of steps to make that happen. They've given me the intellectual and structural support that makes it far easier to implement, and have been there throughout my efforts to live out our synod in the Diocese of Gary, and now that I'm in Madison, our Go Make Disciples initiative, to really walk with me step by step to help me with the support I need to fulfill that fundamental task of being a diocesan bishop.
The SPES ministry has been helpful to me in a number of ways. Two that come to mind immediately. We were able to share good practices, best practices among the bishops to see that we're not alone in the challenges before us. And then furthermore, to provide me with metrics to look at when it comes to just how are we evangelizing the people, how can we better ourselves, instead of just looking into a void or a vacuum, that we do have certain items, certain metrics to look at. I'm very grateful that we're able to have SPES help us, even lead us with potential tools to evangelize our brothers and sisters.
St. Paul Evangelization Society has been so helpful to me as a diocesan bishop because it has provided guidance and a lot of effective planning, a focus as to what is the most important priority of the church. The obstacles today are well known by you, but the obstacles cannot lead us to be lukewarm, but rather to engage in a new zeal, embracing the cross of our Lord Jesus Christ and moving forward. It is His name that saves us, and we want all people to know Jesus.